Good day. Welcome to another episode of the Sean Farrell podcast. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Jesus Christ is Lord. And before I get started, let me just say, may God bless you all. To those who are subscribed to my channel, may God bless you all. May God give you abundant blessings. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. May God bless you all. Okay, let's get into it. So, passive suicide. Okay, passive suicide. What is passive suicide? It's desire to die without having a plan, with no intentions to put thoughts into actions. Okay. Some examples of passive suicide. I'm going to cross the road without looking. I hope someone crashes into my car. I hope I don't wake up tomorrow. I wish I was never born. Yes, those are just some examples of passive suicide. Even though someone does not have the intent to harm themselves, we should still take them seriously. People who experience passive suicide may not approach daily activities with a care for their well-being and safety. Being passively suicidal is not any less painful as someone who is actively suicidal. They still experience pain and a sense of hopelessness. Just because someone does not have plans doesn't mean they are not at risk. It's still serious and should be treated that way. And let me just say this. If you are struggling, please don't be afraid to seek help. If you're struggling, do not be afraid to seek help, okay? Do not be afraid to seek help. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Especially during Men's Mental Health Month, okay? Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Okay. And I talk about suicide often. I talk about it every day, and we just need to talk about it more as a whole, not pushing it to the background. Don't hold what you're feeling inside, okay? Don't hold what you're feeling inside. I'm saying this from personal experience, okay? I held everything inside, okay? That nearly didn't end well. I nearly ended my life by suicide. That did not end well. And so I remember the first time I went to counseling, I was very, very reluctant to tell the counselor that I had attempted suicide. I was reluctant to tell them that. Believe it or not. But eventually I did get around to it. I did get around to it. And there were times where I was passively suicidal. I still, to this very day, have fleeting passive thoughts of suicide. Fleeting passive thoughts of suicide. Okay. Suicidal ideation. And so, I still deal with it. I still deal with it to this day. But I do have a counselor, and maybe you out there, maybe you, the audience out there, maybe you have your ways of dealing with the struggles of passive suicidal ideation, okay? If you have your ways. But again, let's just take the people who are passively suicidal, let's just take them seriously. Don't dismiss them. Don't judge them. Be empathetic. Listen to them. And that's the main thing right there. Don't judge, be empathetic, and listen. Those three things right there will help somebody in that moment. That will help somebody in their moment who is passively suicidal, whether they're actively suicidal. Okay? If you just do those three things right there, that'll lower their risk in that moment. Now, as for the long term, don't know. But in the moment, if you just do those three things, that'll bring it down, okay? That'll bring down the suicidal ideation in that moment and make them feel better and make them see that they do have hope, okay? So, yeah, let's just talk about it more. Let's discuss it more, okay? So, I was going to do this a few days. So I was going to talk about this the last time, but man, it just seems like when you're working two jobs, it's just like the sleep that you get is never enough, okay? So I just wanted to put it off until I had virtually a full day, which is today. So a few weeks ago, okay, I was talking to this woman, okay? I was talking to this woman, and we actually had a lunch date, okay? And we talked, we hit it off. She was a Christian. She went into church, read her Bible, which is exactly what I'm looking for, okay? So we continued talking, and it's pretty much over when a woman that you're talking to, they ghost you, okay? You text them, they don't respond. Then you text them again, and they still don't respond. Hope is over, okay? Hope is over when they completely ghost you. All right. So how many times has that happened to you all, men and women? How many times has that happened to you all? It's happened to me several times. And one of the struggles for me is this, especially when you feel like it's moving somewhere in a positive direction. When you're moving somewhere in a positive direction, and then all of a sudden it's just like it stops, okay? And for me, the thing that I have to fight against is this. You have to fight against the thoughts of, I have to fight against the thoughts, maybe some of you all out there who are watching this, you have to fight against the thoughts of, what am I doing wrong? How come I'm not good? How come I'm not good enough? How come nobody wants me? And you saying these things to yourself in your mind, and you're like, I know I'm a good guy. I know I'm a good woman. What am I doing wrong to... What did I do wrong to run her away? What did I do wrong to run him away? What did I do wrong to do? You know, these are questions that that I ask myself. Then these are questions that I ask myself. Some questions that you all, men and women, may be asking yourselves. Okay. These are the things that you have to battle with. And then it goes from those questions. Then it goes from those questions to like, they didn't want me because I'm too much of a burden. And so then you start getting it in your mind. I'm just too much of a burden. So why would any woman want me? Women, you may be saying to yourselves, why doesn't any man want me? You may be saying that to yourselves. And these are the thoughts that you constantly have to fight. Because especially when it's moving in a positive direction, and then it stops. And I have to fight extremely hard against those thoughts. I have to fight extremely hard against those thoughts of, what am I doing wrong? How come I'm not good enough? Am I a burden to her? Why am I not good enough for anybody? What am I doing wrong? And then you go out and you see couples who are together out in public, and there's a sense of happiness that you feel. There's a sense of happiness that you feel. But then there's also, by that same token, there's a sense of heartbrokenness, sadness, and loneliness that you feel. Because that's something that you've been praying for a while. And then those questions that you ask yourself come right back up again. Okay. Why am I not good enough? What am I doing wrong? Is there something wrong with me? And then you start believing there's something wrong with you. You really start believing that. There was a time where I believed that. I firmly believed that. I very firmly believed that. Justin Timberlake had a song on the Bad Boys 2 soundtrack, okay? Justin Timberlake had a song on the Bad Boys 2 soundtrack called Love Don't Love Me, okay? I want you, baby, I want you, but I guess love don't love me, oh. So, and there's a saying, when you're happy, you enjoy the lyric. When you're happy, you enjoy the song. When you're sad, you understand the lyrics. Yeah. And so, fighting against those things right there. The sense of loneliness that comes from that way of thinking, the sense of depression that you get from that kind of thinking. And in some ways it makes you think about suicide. In some ways it makes you think about suicide, because you've prayed and prayed and prayed, and it just hasn't happened. And it just hasn't happened. And again, there's a sense of loneliness. There's a sense of negative, intrusive thoughts that you deal with when you say to yourself, how come nobody wants me? And when you believe that you are a burden. And it does bring on a sense of suicidal ideation. It does bring on a sense of suicidal ideation. And I know for me it has. I know for me it has. And this is a tough thing to deal with. But when you feel not wanted, when you feel like something is wrong with you, when you feel like a burden, what you tend to do is you, and any other potential relationships you could possibly have, you hijack the situation, or sabotage the situation, whatever the case may be. And you don't sabotage or hijack the situation because you want to. It's because there's always that feeling in the back of your mind. This person is gonna leave me, and leave me with a sense of not being wanted. Okay, that's how I felt a few weeks ago. A sense of not being wanted. A sense of not being wanted. And that thought began to get planted in my mind. It began to get planted. Then I had to take a shovel and dig that thought out of my mind. Can you dig it? We can dig it. Can y'all dig it? Had to take a shovel and dig that plan out. Dig that thought out of my mind. Which is not an easy thing to do. Okay? Because once that intrusive thought is planted, those intrusive thoughts of I'm a burden, how come nobody wants me? What am I doing wrong? When those thoughts plant and they start to grow, it's like poison ivy. It's like mental poison ivy. Yeah. It's like mental poison ivy. Those thoughts. Those intrusive thoughts that are being planted. It's like mental poison ivy. It's what it feels like. And you got to really guard against those thoughts. So what you have to do is you have to take some weed killer. Some intrusive thought weed killer. Some intrusive thought weed killer. Then you got to spray that poison ivy, or you got to spray those poisonous plants, those poisonous intrusive thoughts, And then after a day, they turn a certain color and go down. Then another day, they turn a certain color and go down. Then after a few more days, those thoughts are gone. Okay. So that's what people out there you possibly deal with. What I deal with. Dealing with a sense of loneliness. Dealing with a sense of rejection. The feeling that you're doing something wrong. All of these things you have to fight against. Because there is just a deep sense of loneliness you feel. And it's hell. Being in a lonely, dark place is, feeling like you're in a lonely, dark place is hell. Especially when potentially you can have a man or woman that you can have someone to share that darkness with. And then, no, it doesn't happen. It's cruel. It's cruel. It's cold. But, it's exhausting to fight, but I would just say it is worth it. It's worth it. It's worth a fight. It's worth a fight. And yeah, it's worth it. It's worth a fight. And yeah. All right. That's it. That's all for the Sean Farrell podcast. I am Sean Farrell. Peace out. May God bless you all. I'm out.